welcome to Reddit on Reddit. I'm Dr. Nelson Allingham, joined by Professor Michael Campbell.
Hello, Nelson.
We are a podcast where we discuss the social events on Reddit and analyze,
dissect.
Yes, the brain of the internet, if you will.
What an amusing metaphor you've used there, Nelson. if you don't bloody mind me saying so.
Yes. Well.
Sorry for the blue language.
I do try.
That was weird. That's what it would be like if we were actual broadcasters. I mean, I don't know if it would be so up our own arse because we've never done that before. We have done the morning radio DJ voices before, which everyone loves, obviously.
Everybody loves that. That's why they're so popular.
They are pretty popular, though. Oh, yeah. I've listened to a few podcasts that are a bit like, hey, Nels, you never guess.
Yeah. But aren't they sort of being... I feel like the majority of podcasts aren't that, so,
I
taking over.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought the reason why I did that is because...
You started very professionally.
Well, sometimes... Because I, tag people if we've used their posts every week.
Sure.
And so the people that I tagged this week, I want to... at least give them a few seconds of thought that maybe this might be some sort of intellectual podcast.
Right. And
before we drown them out with stupidity.
Though, if this is your first episode, obviously we don't really speak like that, but Nelson is a doctor and I am a professor.
Yeah.
That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, we definitely got to PhDs.
And in a sense, we do dissect and analyze the social commentary on Reddit every week.
Yeah, which is kind of the brain of the internet. You know what? Everything I said before was accurate to a T.
We just did a silly voice. That's all.
A silly voice. We don't have those voices, but everything else is factually correct.
I mean, we have those voices. Yeah. We just don't naturally talk in them.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true as well. Anyway.
Nelson, can I quickly share before we get into Reddit, which obviously is the brain of the internet, which is just what we dissect here like neurosurgeons, which we also are.
Yeah, we're neurosurgeons as well. I'm a doctor of neurosurgery.
And I'm a professor of it.
Yeah.
I taught Nelson.
Wait, am I not... Wouldn't you say that you're a doctor... If you could be a professor and a doctor, wouldn't you go by doctor as being the, superior...
Nelson, technically I could, but I wanted some variety in our names.
Well...
If it's Dr. Nelson and Dr. Cambo.
Look, I'm going to throw this out there publicly, but I don't think you're qualified, all right? But you seem to always choose professor. And when all us doctors are out at a doctor function... Yep. And you're like, no,
it's called a hospital, Nelson. I told you not to call it a doctor function. It's called a hospital, and it's where you work.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like you know what? You're not a doctor, so you can't comment on these things.
Before we get into Reddit, the brain of the internet, I want to share just a quick story of cowardice with you. Okay. And it was I that was the coward.
Oh, okay.
And we're an open show, and I like to admit my failings. But I just wanted to know what you would also do. So I was getting a haircut recently, right? And as I was getting my haircut, struck up conversation with the woman cutting my hair, and she wanted to know what I did over the Christmas break. And I said, well, I was in America. And then she was kind of asking how it went. I said, yeah, it was interesting because the government was shut down while we were there.
Yeah.
So we just drove into national parks and stuff like that. And she said, first of all, she didn't know about that, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Oh, it's interesting. But I don't know much about that, but I know that it's happening.
Yeah. And she said, why has the government shut down? And I said, well, it's mainly to do with the border wall, right? Trump wants over $5 billion for this border wall. People don't want to give him the money. The government's divided, so they shut down, right? I wish I didn't say this, Nelson, because it started her off talking about her opinions on immigration.
No.
As an immigrant herself from Russia, is what she was explaining to me.
Okay.
She started to
that's
go
slightly
on.
better. Honestly, I thought it was going to go the other way, but let's see how it pans out.
Nelson, do you imagine Russia as a very welcoming country?
Yeah. Vladimir Putin is just such a lovely guy.
No, she was quite pro-Trump. We're not particularly a political podcast, but I would say that we don't like Trump.
Yeah.
She was quite pro-Trump, and she was.
I love the wall, though. I'll just throw that out there.
She was spinning a lot of stuff that I disagreed with.
Okay,
but here is the predicament and where the cowardice comes in.
This is where the cowardice came in.
She was also cutting my hair.
Yeah, she's got a lot of power.
Yes. So I just politely sat there and was like, yeah. Yeah, well, you got a point, I guess. You know?
Oh, no.
Because I didn't want to get into a fight with a woman that will affect... I mean, it's vanity, isn't it? Will ultimately affect how I look.
Yeah.
I'm just interested. If someone was... like, she wasn't goose-stepping or anything, I should point out. But she was just making some very wild assumptions about big masses of people and whatnot. What would you have done?
I don't know if you read the podnapping thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm doing it. This is right on brand.
Oh, so maybe we should save this conversation. There's a little tease for what's coming later in a segment we like to call podnapping.
I feel like we can continue the.
Okay. Yeah.
But I want to know at what point, like getting back to the cowardice part of it. Okay.
My great shame.
Yeah, your great shame. Is that I want to know at what point was the worst time that she said a phrase and then you said, You know, like what? Like if she was like, "Oh, kill all the Mexicans," and you went, "No." Like, so I'm hoping that wasn't.
I can tell you the phrase that I decided not to say anything.
Yeah,
and this isn't even necessarily an offensive phrase, but you can imagine what comes next when she said, And then the Muslims.
Oh.
At which point I was like,
Okay, yeah. Okay. Look,
it's not great.
I think that you were in your right to do that, but
to stay silent.
To stay silent.
Sure.
Do nothing. I've heard that that's fine. Throughout history, staying silent, eventually things blow over. That's what I've learned.
What I should have got up, paid for my haircut, and said, "You're wrong," and threw the money out and ran out the store.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, sure, you stayed silent during that part, totally fine. But at the end, there was your opportunity to go nuts. You're absolutely ham.
So it's not necessarily a moment of cowardice, but a moment.
The same.
Our barber.
Oh, no. I think I know which person you said. Oh, no. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That is interesting. And she was an immigrant? Or at least her parents, you saying? Because she's
No, she was Russian. She had a Russian accent.
Oh, my God.
Which makes it scarier, can I just say?
Yeah. It's like, what? Oh, my. And God, yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's just the worst.
Yeah.
People.
Here's just a free hint when you're getting a haircut. Just avoid politics. It's a real. Oh boy, I didn't really mean to. No, I thought it was just an interesting fact.
Yeah,
that turned into an uncomfortable haircut.
I think that when it started getting political, you should have just made up something.
Right.
You know, where she's like, "Oh, why is the government, shut down?" And you're like, "Oh,
holiday.
This is getting different." yeah.
So everyone went on a holiday.
Big holiday for all the government. They've been working real hard.
No, because then she would have been like, "Oh, lazy, like those Mexicans." It's never escaping it, Nelson.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Invasion. No, that's just as bad. Okay, I got nothing. All right, let's get into Reddit on Reddit, Campo.
Okay.
This first Reddit on Reddit is by McHeeta2 or MCheetah2, which I'm pretty sure we had last week, and was the $1 million butt, or would you take the deal or something, which didn't turn out that great. But I think this one, I think this one might be okay.
Yeah.
And it was in a new subreddit that I haven't used before. It's called 6 Perks.
Okay.
And the idea is that somebody writes down 6 perks and you choose one of them, but in this one, you have to choose 2.
Okay.
And explain why, but each perk comes with a downside.
Okay.
So this might be a bit tricky. There's 6 of them, and there's like a paragraph for each one.
Okay.
So if we get lost, we can come back to them, okay? But I'm just going to read them all in one now.
Sure.
All right. Charm speaker. For anyone you find attractive, you will instantly know every step possible to make them fall for you. If it is possible. With many people, it would not be possible, though, due to sexual orientation, a committed relationship, their level of shallowness, etc. Anything you could possibly say, you will know how to say it. But in exchange, you lose 6 inches in height and gain 100 pounds.
Oh.
Bargain shopper. Anything you buy now will automatically cost 50% off, but it only applies to you. You cannot buy it for anyone else, and you cannot resell anything for full value. It applies to all purchases and rentals. However, you now also have to live in a shitty and dangerous neighborhood as your permanent home for at least 4 years. Okay. If you move after the minimum time living there, things will only be 25% off.
Oh.
Keep going. Magic eyes. You will now be extremely perceptive in everyday life. Kind of like that old show Psych. You can now see things most people would miss, recognize patterns easily, and be very acute and perceptive. Your IQ will now also be boosted by 20%. However, you are now far more likely to easily offend, annoy, or upset people in any given situation. Choose your words carefully. I feel like, there's people that are like really smart and they kind of already have that downside to them. Yeah. Okay. He always knows. By the way, I only read the first 3. I have no idea what the next 3
are. Good. If this gets really offensive, I apologize.
Real bad. He always knows. You hate Mexicans. No, sorry. That's not what it says. You can smell into the past. What the? Okay.
Nelson, it immediately went off the rails. The line after the line that you stopped reading is just insane.
I can't believe that I stopped reading just before this one. I was like, the first 3 are fine.
Because that's the line that you would have gone, nope.
He can smell into the past. I think somebody farted in here. Turned that happened 3 weeks ago.
There's a superhero I would like to see turn up in Avengers Endgame.
In what scenario?
It could be you.
Does he save the day?
It could be you. It could be Smelson.
I could be Smelson. Smelson would be great. Oh my God.
So that's your superhero alter ego. You're Smelson and you can smell into the past.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me continue reading. Oh boy. Okay. You can smell into the past. Okay, you have a super nose that
Oh God.
You have a super nose that transcends time. Oh my God. This is so stupid. Oh God. Okay.
Okay. Have you composed yourself?
All right. Okay. You can smell things that were once in any given location and choose how far back into the past you can smell. You can also tell what very distinct and precise smells are at any given time as well with the nose of a bloodhound. However, you are now far more sensitive and irritated by sound and light. Oh, God.
All right.
Okay.
So far, that one's bottom of the pile.
That one is just the
Because I don't see any benefit yet.
Never in my life have I gone, I wish I could smell what was here.
You know, there used to be a perfume factory on this location. Obviously, it's long since gone and the scents have lingered. And you'll be like, haha, maybe for you.
Oh, God. Okay. The happy touch. Anyone who touches and rubs your skin will temporarily become happy, euphoric, and feel very positive and inspired. This has no negative effects for the toucher. The effect lasts for 360 times the length of how long they touched you. So if they rubbed your arm for 10 seconds, it would last an hour. But it has to be of their own free will, and telling someone you have this effect will negate it on them while still within their memory. The negative to this is you become really ugly and look old, as if sick with cancer or something, reducing the amount of people willing to touch your skin unprovoked.
Right.
Okay, and the last one. Note taker. For any decision-making choice in life, you can choose to preview the outcome via an invisible sound fairy of sorts.
Okay.
You will hear a 2-second piano note to determine the potential outcome of something you do. The higher the note, the better the outcome. The lower the note, the worse the outcome.
Okay.
You can only use this once every 7 days. In exchange, your sex drive and libido will be killed, essentially making you asexual and impotent.
Oh,
well, the consequence for that one is pretty rough.
Because I was thinking, well, this one's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has the worst consequence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to pick two of these.
Yeah, pick two. I know what I'm going for.
I will start by, for me, I'll eliminate smelling into the past.
Okay. Oh, you're going to regret
Can
that.
you give me like a one-sentence recap of all of them?
Okay,
Number one.
Number one, people are charmed by you.
But you gain weight.
But you gain weight and you lose 6 inches.
Yep.
Bargain shopper.
Yep.
You pay things for 50%, but you have to live in a crappy neighborhood.
Yep.
For at least 5 years, and then if you move after that, it's 25% off. Magic eyes, you perceive that you're like a Sherlock Holmes.
Right, yep.
And, but you easily offend or annoy or upset people. The nose one. Happy touch.
Yep.
People touch you, feel great, but then you look real bad. And the note taker, you get a piano note.
But they cut your dick off.
But they cut your dick off.
Right.
And they swallow it.
Okay, so here's my first choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the 50% off.
Yeah. Who doesn't like a bargain?
Who doesn't like a bargain?
Like a sale.
Right?
Yep.
Now, did it say that if you move before that time, you only get 25% off? Or is it if you move after that time, you only get 25% off?
You have to move
to a crappy
after
neighborhood.
a minimum 4 years.
Yeah.
So if you move, say, before the 4 years, then you don't get the 50% off anymore.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going to say, can I add on to it?
Sure.
You can't keep any possessions that you spent the half off for. Because otherwise you'd be like, I'll just spend as much as I can in 1 year.
Right.
And then leave and then, oh, well, I don't have any more. But yeah, okay.
Okay. I would choose that one because here's my reasoning.
Yeah.
I might be able to live in a crappy neighborhood. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
even if I can, because that's groceries. That's everything's half off, Nelson.
Yeah.
So cost of living goes down, right? So I can save money.
Yeah.
However, if it all becomes too much, I can move back because I pay full price now.
Yeah. That's a good point.
There's no consequence to me moving out.
Yeah, that's right.
I just literally go back to my life now.
Yeah.
So I choose that one.
And if you're in a crappy neighborhood, you can buy heaps of drugs. 50% off.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
$25 a gram. I think you'll find it's actually less than that.
It's me. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Stupid fucking curse.
Yeah.
If I had to pick another one, it would be number 3. The Sherlock Holmes. Boosting the intelligence. Because I feel like we speak pretty openly on this show anyway.
Yeah.
And we've already made our enemies.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We easily offend and annoy people.
Yeah.
Already. In fact, yeah, it's just a positive. That's all we've got.
The negative is already happening for us.
Yeah.
So we may as well get that positive as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it doesn't even say that you will offend people. It's just you're more likely.
You're more likely because you're enlightened.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Good choices.
Thank you.
Camber, I approve of those.
Yep. Do you just choose the nose one twice?
I would choose the nose one twice if I could, because I also want to smell into the future.
Yeah.
Camber, what's gonna be here?
I know, it smells like nuclear wasteland. Oh no!
Oh no!
What were the consequences of the nose again?
You are far more sensitive and irritated by sound and light.
So going to the movies sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can smell the popcorn from last week. I mean, you can smell the popcorn from today, I guess.
It's like double popcorn.
It's like double. You can smell double the popcorn.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. I want everybody in the world to look at these 6 perks. And then I want to talk to all the people that chose the nose and just be like, why? Tell me in what circumstance.
Tell me why, and also tell me about you.
Yeah, that's right.
What are you about?
Maybe they would be deaf and blind.
Oh.
And they're like, I can only smell anyway. May as well.
May as well be awesome at it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I would probably choose the same. The only thing I thought was I could maybe do the Magic Hour Sherlock Holmes-ish one, and then the Charm Speaker one.
Okay.
Because if I annoyed people, then I would know exactly what to say to get them to like me.
It's a deadly combination, those two.
Yeah. But then I am 6 inches in height and 100 pounds.
And I don't want to shatter.
Weight?
I don't want to. Oh, there's a good question. Yeah.
Harder to get the height back.
Yeah, more definitely. But not impossible. You can get those. Don't people sometimes get their like calf bone lengthened or something?
Oh, right.
I don't know. It's a weird, ill-advised procedure.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't want to shatter any illusions
Yep.
that people might have of us, but no, because we're about the same height.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to lose
We
that
got
height.
6 inches. Is 6 inches too much? Yeah.
Oh, I took my measurement the other day, and I'm 180 centimeters tall, right?
Oh, I think I'm about, I always think I'm like 179, 180.
Yeah,
I can never remember, but something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So what is that? Just under 6 foot, or 6 foot on the dot? Maybe. I think it's just under. I think it's like 5'11".
I think it's just under. Yeah. I think you're at 5'11".
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh.
Boy. We are dating women by the skin of our teeth.
And that's now.
Yes.
So if we lose, the height, oh boy.
Do you know, it is interesting, right? When you relate height and relationships. Because
Yes.
I was thinking about this the other day. There was a very attractive girl, and she was quite a bit taller than me.
Sure.
And I was like, I have no chance of ever getting this.
Right. That's true. Height seems unobtainable.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was like,
is it just a physical dominance?
yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
Because I've thought the same thing.
Yeah.
See a really tall guy, you're like, well, no shot there.
Yeah, zero chance.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like if they're maybe a little bit higher or taller or whatever, that's fine. But this was like,
Significantly.
significant portion. I was like, yep, that's my chance is gone. But so yes, cannot afford that 6 inches. Okay, all right, Camber. I say that's done. You know what? This show's just gone downhill from the nose thing, hasn't it? Like that was a peak. Probably all since we started this podcast. has been the highlight. If somebody asked me in 20 years' time,
what's the best thing that ever happened? And you're probably married by this point.
I'm married with kids, and then, somebody's like, oh, hey, I listened to your podcast the other day. What was the best part?
And you just go, 122. Are we at 122?
Yeah, I think
122.
Yeah.
Roughly 14 minutes in.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll hear it. I wonder how accurate I was just.
You know what? I was looking at the time. I reckon 14 minutes is very close.
Lucky we don't edit, because then I would have been out, because you could have chopped.
Yeah.
And
I would have. But I'm not going to, because editing, am I right? Okay. Let's move on, Gameboy. Let's get into Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit is by Lavish Parakeet.
Huh?
You're meeting your significant other's parents. You have 30 seconds to ruin it. What do you do/say?
Kiss their dad.
Okay.
Like passionately kiss their dad.
Oh, passionately. That's next level. But he'd push you off at some point.
Yeah,
Presumably.
but
or if he didn't, that would still probably affect your significant other's mother more than anything.
Here's the thing. I think it's tailor-made to affect everyone, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because the dad... Yeah, and this is not a homophobic thing, should I say?
Yeah.
If anyone just randomly kissed someone else without warning, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
But given that he's married to a woman, I would say his orientation also doesn't swing that way. So he's making him uncomfortable two ways.
Not always, but
Not always.
Statistically.
Yeah. Well, I've got a higher chance of offense. The mum, very confused.
Yeah.
Who's kissing my husband?
Yeah.
Girlfriend, just... What are you doing? Cheating on me with my dad?
Yeah.
So I think that is the optimal way to offend the most people as quick as possible.
See, I'm thinking though, they might be like, oh, like if I did it,
right?
They might be like, oh, he's half Italian, so maybe there's something.
They're a bit weird over there.
Yeah. And then I'll finish the kiss, and the mum's like, all right, and then I have to start pashing her for a few minutes.
Or if it's an Italian family. They'll be like, well, he's half English.
That's
and we don't know what they're up to. What Brexit's going on. It's a very emotional time to be English.
I don't really consider myself half English, though.
I mean, your last name is Allingham.
I know, it's a very English name, but I feel like for generations.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm the same.
Look, all I'm saying is don't compare me to those pommy scum. Racism. More on that later. Okay. What would I do? Right. I would dack myself, pee all over the floor. But what if I needed to, couldn't go? Actually, even just trying. What are you doing? I'm trying to pee. Stay still. Some of this is meant to go over you. Yeah. You know what? Now that I think about it, plenty. There are so many options.
Okay, let's go with something a little more subtle. It's not as obvious that you're definitely... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
What if... You planted within your wallet just so many condoms.
Okay.
And you went to get your wallet out and you deliberately made all the condoms all over the floor.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
That's pretty good. But again, it's like...
How did half of my condoms get out? You're going to make them think you got even more condoms somewhere.
Yeah, that's good, actually. I think, though, the problem is, some new agey parents are like, okay, well, my daughter is going to have sex. At least he's being, having protected sex. I think you is following a similar line, but you make very obvious that you've poked holes in all the condoms. There's huge holes in all of them.
Now, Nelson, Dr. Nelson.
Yeah.
This is a question to you from Professor Campo.
Yes, Professor Campo.
Is it funnier if the condoms are huge or tiny? I think it's funnier if they're tiny. Because then they're like, not only is he having sex with her all the time, but it's not. He's got a small dick as well.
What are they? These water balloons? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that could be pretty funny. Okay. Here. All right. Here's another one. That was a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
I think going on what we said before, maybe just sort of show your support of Trump.
Right. Okay.
Pretty early on.
But it's hard to tell with parents.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That is true. Yeah. I actually, there is like, because I sort of feel like most people I know and most family members, you know,
I've heard some family members say some pretty dicey stuff.
Well, I was going to say, I thought that way until one day my uncle said something like,
everyone's got an uncle.
I think Trump's got a bit of a point, you know, sometimes. And I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's not even a safe bet.
Because that could actually endear you, which is not what we're after.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe you thought Brexit was a clear and well-defined thing that the UK did. I don't know.
I think that I could do it just being me, to be honest with you. I could just be like, oh, sorry, mate, I was reading comic books. And that's not even a line, Elson. That's not something I have to make up. That is actually a real possibility.
Yeah, that's
I reckon that would get a few sideways glances.
Yeah.
And you could say, I was playing online video games.
Yeah, that's right. And I am always
I was flaming some 13-year-old kid, you could say.
Yeah.
And then explain what flaming is.
Yeah. Okay, good. Let's do another one.
Okay.
This is by Mustafa Rangoon 52. What is it? This is quite a big one on
as in popular.
on Reddit this week. Yeah, highly upvoted.
Sure.
What are some guy secrets girls don't know about?
Oh, guy secrets that girls don't know about.
I mean, we've spoken about before, just to start you off. While you're thinking about it. But we've spoken about before how I feel like no girls really understand the stream or flow of urine out to the penis. And I can say that because I'm a doctor.
That's what his doctorate's in. Penises.
In penises. And neurosurgery, we said before.
That's the dick of the head.
Penis. Because, you know, sometimes like it doesn't come out straight. Don't know why, it sometimes doesn't. You think it's going one way, it goes the other. Maybe it gets caught on. I think as well if you're... No, do you know what I think is actually a mystery from one guy to another?
Oh, yeah.
Is if you're circumcised or not. See, I'm not circumcised.
Yeah.
And I don't quite know the experience in which a circumcised guy might have. Because, you know, like... You know, there's an extra bit of skin at the end that, like, can also, talking about being, like, interrupt the flow a little bit.
Or sometimes make a funnel.
If you're not careful. Yeah, or, you know, make a funnel, like you can stretch that stuff. But I don't know, you know, what a circumcised...
I'm going to go even more grotesque. So, just in case, because some people that listen to this have kids.
Yeah.
And I just would hate for them to have this on like a Bluetooth speaker at this point.
Okay.
So there's just a warning.
Okay.
But the idea of a split stream, which is normally something guys might get after sex.
Yeah.
When there's maybe something clogging the pipe still.
Okay, yep.
And your urine will split.
Yeah.
Do girls...
Double whammy.
Do girls know about that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because, like...
It's hard. You really need to, like... You need to, like, stick it into the toilet to make sure that it...
Yeah.
You know, like, you need to, like, get right down.
Yeah. And because it's, like, it's not a super... Like, it doesn't happen every time.
No.
And it's not like girls are watching every time.
But you never know what's going to happen.
Their partner pees.
Yeah. Okay. Here's something that girls might not know about guys.
Yeah.
Girls, if you leave the house for any amount of time...
Yeah.
We're wanking.
We are wanking straight away.
Oh, boy.
We're thinking about, you know, we're looking at... We're looking at your bras.
Yep.
When we do it.
Yeah. I would say, that, and also if you ever pick up a guy's phone, that's fine. You go on this, that's fine. Never hit that little tab down the corner that says private, like that has the discreet...
What? What's that one?
You've never used the private tab on your browser?
No. Wait, on the phone? Is it?
Yeah, on the phone. there's like a little thing down the bottom that says private.
Oh, yeah. I've never used that.
You've never used it?
No.
Well, you're a single man or something.
Yeah, but I've never had to. Is that like incognito mode?
Yep.
Okay, I know incognito mode.
Yeah.
But okay, right, yeah. But wait, so if you click on the private tab, but then isn't there nothing there? Because isn't that the whole point of it?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'll check this out. I'm pretty sure that it'll just leave whatever you were last on, but that won't show up with like in any of your search results.
Right. Okay,
I don't think it wipes.
Okay. So if you haven't closed down the tab,
yes,
then,
yeah,
right. All right. Well, that's a lesson out there. For you.
That's a lesson
for you guys. Okay, close the tab. No, do you know what I learned?
What?
Is girls look at just as much porn as guys. That's what. Well, for the most part, maybe.
Yeah.
This is one that I think is. I mean, you said as soon as I leave the house, we wank instantly. I think there is the opposite of that sometimes in like in previous relationships. Like I don't always want to have sex. I feel like it's such a stigma. The guys always want to have sex. Like sometimes I just can't. I'm tired. I can't be bothered. All right.
Sometimes you've got a headache.
Yeah. Sometimes I've got a headache. Okay. And then, I've had experiences in the past where, I've said like something along those lines and the girl get really upset. And I was like, well, come on.
So
I think it's because she then thinks, oh, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
Because
you think,
men always want to have sex and he doesn't want to have sex with me.
So you think it's a bit generalizing to assume that all guys always want to have sex?
Always want to have sex. Yeah. I mean, look, we want to have sex a lot.
Yeah.
We're not ruling that out.
But just not always.
Yeah. Also, I think, I feel like there's a lot of things that maybe as well girls assume about guys.
Yeah.
Like that we just don't like sort of care about. Like we don't, in general, again, I don't think we overthink anything in a relationship. Like we're just very blunt. We don't, in general, we don't like give off hints or clues or play this like secretive dating game. I feel like we're just all pretty blunt and honest.
That's so.
It's generalizing.
Yeah, men generally might not overthink like emotional relationships, but the things that men overthink are really dumb.
Yeah.
Like if I'm buying a new backpack or something like that, I'll just do so much more research than is necessary. Just to find out what the best. Like I definitely overthink all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes to relationships, I'm pretty. I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I can always go back to wanking. Is kind of how we think.
This is not good. My girlfriend listens to this.
Yeah. Well,
and when she
knows now, you can always go back to wank. Because nobody can wank you off as good as you can wank yourself. Okay? That's the real secret. Okay? Men will never be alone. Because it's just nobody can do it right. All right. Anyway, let's move on, Cambo. Let's get into Today I Learned. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Let's play the intro to that. Today I Learned. This Today I Learned is by Waffle Legion. Today I learned that in 1808, two Frenchmen held a duel in the skies by both riding their own hot air balloon and shooting at each other's balloon. Is that not the most badass duel in the world? Holy shit.
Can we make an air impact? Like, we're best buds, so we probably won't come to blows like this.
Yeah.
But if we do, say something gets in between us. Some great love that we're both in love with gets in between us and it can't be doing and we must duel.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
And we've lost our hands so we can't wank, obviously.
Right. Obviously.
Because otherwise it wouldn't matter.
I don't think we've lost our hands because we still need to shoot, Nelson.
We've lost our penis.
Yeah, a dick's ago.
Okay.
Can we do this as a form of duel?
Yes. No, but now I want to go a step further.
Okay.
Because that was the most badass. That would be so scary as well, because I imagine a couple of bullets wouldn't do it.
Yeah. What about cannons?
Cannon.
But here's the thing, because I would shoot a cannon at you, but that blowback would also push me further away.
Yeah, okay.
Thus making it even harder for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It reminds me of, did you ever play that cannon game on like really old computers where you could adjust the height and length of a cannon?
I played Worms.
No, it's like it was slightly. I'm talking about like DOS sort of game, like real old. And I think there's been iterations of it since.
Yeah.
But you adjust like the angle of the cannon and how much power, and you just have to like shoot them at each other.
Yeah, cool.
And anyway, I think that'd be funny where we just have to like stand still, like we're just on the ground. We have to stand still.
I wouldn't mind.
You get a shot with the cannon, then I get a shot.
I wouldn't mind. This would take a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
But you see that old footage of war where they just walk at each other, but they're also shooting cannons at each other.
Yeah.
We could do that, but I would like us to be in an army.
We need an army.
We're the generals of those armies.
Yeah. Okay.
So like yours is in like red coats and mine are in the blue coats. We're with them shooting cannons at each other.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the hot air balloon thing's just topped it pretty much.
Yeah. Look, if we're on cannons, and we were briefly, I may have even brought this up before, but I've always thought that it would be great if when you're getting married, to just have the best moment of just being married.
Yeah.
Everyone kisses the bride, right? And you do that. But you kiss the bride.
Everyone kisses the bride?
No. Everyone who is getting married kisses the bride they're marrying or the man they're
groom
marrying.
Kisses the bride.
Yeah. Okay. Whoever you're marrying, you kiss them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
To seal the deal.
Cool,
but if after that...
I wanted to go to your wedding. All right, everybody. Kiss my bride.
What if he said, you may now kiss the bride, and you do that, and he goes, now, you may now fire the cannon. And you turn around and you light the wick on a cannon and shoot that too.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Do you reckon you could get away with it in Melbourne?
If you went to like the Yarra Valley where they've got all those, those rolling fields, surely you could shoot a cannon into a field.
I feel like it would be really hard to just
shoot a cannon into an opposing wedding.
Oh.
You don't want theirs to be too good.
Is it my wedding? Are we having a duel?
Yeah.
We're shooting cannons at each other during our weddings as a duel.
Yeah.
And we're in hot air balloons. Cool. Now, that's the plan. Okay. I've got another one for you, Kembo.
Yeah.
Just a second. Okay. This is by Bluest Waters.
Ooh.
Today I learned Gary Gygax's wife was convinced he was having an affair, so she followed him to a dimly lit basement and burst into the room, only to find him and his friends hunched over hand-drawn maps. Gary would go on to invent the role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons.
Huh. Well, did his wife leave him?
Obviously.
Yeah, that fits the bill.
She was like, this is worse. I was hoping you would have an affair. Nerds. Oh, good. Don't gross me out. I think it's funny, right? I think the funniest thing about this is that even while inventing the game, Gary Gygax knew that it was so nerdy. He didn't even want to tell his wife. He's like, oh shit, I'm doing the nerdiest thing ever.
Yeah.
And look, I've gone through the same thing. I feel, I've gone through a time where I'm like, I don't really want to tell people that this is an interest of mine. But so I think that's really funny.
Yeah, you had to go through your whole doctorate studying penises and brains, telling people you're doing normal stuff like lungs.
yeah, that's right. What are you working on? Oh, just lung stuff. Again, boy. Really, there's a lot of problems with them.
So here's my theory, right? And this, I think, applies to people in a relationship with a joint bank account. That's an important thing, I think.
Yeah.
With a joint bank account, obviously, you can both see any transactions.
Yeah.
So that makes buying an engagement ring hard, right?
Okay.
So then you would need to take out small increments of money over a long period of time.
Yep.
And you'd probably need to go ring shopping and whatnot. It'd be very hard to not look like you're having an affair.
Yeah. That's true.
Because you would be super secretive. You'd be very nervous. You'd be dodging calls. You'd be getting out of there. You'd be taking little bits of money all the time for undisclosed things.
Yeah, that's right.
It could end your relationship trying to buy an engagement ring.
Or that's the perfect excuse for if you're having an affair and your partner questions you on this. You go, I was just going to buy you a ring.
Interesting.
And then you have to start selling a lot of stuff.
Look,
to then buy the ring legitimately.
All right, here's a free bit of advice, Ed. If you're having an affair but you want to make it look like you're about to propose, just go on a couple of jewelry websites and look at engagement rings long enough that you start getting served those ads on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because presumably if you have a shared computer, she will also then get served those ads and she'll be like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I see the ads for rings.
It's
you
coming.
idiot. We're having an affair.
Yeah. I think alternatively,
Yeah.
you're having an
By the way, I shouldn't help people have affairs. I've just realized that.
There's a website for it.
Yes.
So it's like, what are you doing that Ashley and Madison is not? Okay, here's another idea. You're having an affair, but you want to get your partner to think you're just playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
We're gonna flip this on its head.
Yeah.
Just get real into BDSM stuff.
I was in the dungeon.
Yeah, yeah.
Chained up, if you can imagine.
Yeah, that's right. You can talk openly with the woman you're having an affair with about the affair.
Yeah. If you make your safe words something really nerdy, like
wizard.
Yeah, or like an incantation or something like that.
Yeah,
like
Excelsior.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't know, frog's eyes.
Yeah.
Say it's frog's eyes. And you're like, I was screaming at her, frog's eyes, frog's eyes. It sounds like a shitty game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's true.
But you idiot, you're having an affair.
You're having an affair. All right. Cool. So I think we've solved how people can have affairs on this podcast, which is what we set out to do, really. Okay. Well, let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought is by RJCHI or Rajichi.
I don't know why I found that so funny.
If you are rich enough, parking tickets are just how much it costs to park there. I love that.
Yeah, that's
I love
great.
that shower thought.
Because speeding fines and stuff obviously take off demerit points in your license.
Yeah.
Parking fines just a council, doesn't
Not
it?
parking fines.
Yeah.
In fact, there's probably a lot of laws that I feel like jaywalking, for example, you just get a fine, right?
Yeah.
Speeding ticket.
Yeah.
No, you get demerit points.
You get demerit
Never
points.
mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Killing somebody, you said?
I think that's a fine.
Okay. You can get
Might be some community service.
Yeah. Littering. I mean, you're just a jerk, though.
Imagine you go to jail for littering.
Yeah.
You'd have to lie. Someone's like, what are you in here for? Oh, murders.
Yeah.
Murdered the pavement with my wrapper.
Yeah.
I've been shanked.
You'd have to try really hard to get into jail for littering, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to litter, get a fine, not pay
Scrunch that fine up in front of them and then litter.
Yeah,
and be like, give me another one. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I'll do it as many times as I need to.
Yeah. And then you get issued community service and you just don't go, I guess.
Yeah.
And they have a warrant to have you arrested.
And like they'll be like, oh, in the ultimate twist of irony, you need to pick up litter will be your community service.
Yeah.
But then you just litter more.
You litter more. You pick it up and you throw it out.
Yeah.
Again. You get all the other community workers' bags and you tip them out at the end of the day.
Yeah. And even then, I still don't know if that's enough to send you to prison.
It'd be real.
Yeah.
Well, I think probably they would just get you with something else that you're doing.
Yeah.
That can be.
They just plant coke on you.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You're your possession.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's just a fine as well. This is a lot. Okay.
Enough that there was intent to sell.
Yeah, that's right. All because you anyway, this is stupid. Okay. But lots of ways. So if you're rich, if I was rich, I just feel life would be so much easier.
And it would bring happiness. Is the ultimate.
It would bring happiness. So much happiness. Okay, here's another one. This is by Doing It Good.
Ooh.
1. People would probably work out a lot more if they could see their strength in a stats screen.
Can you not in this day and age? I just brought a new scale that shows me that kind of stuff.
Shows you your strength.
Shows me like my muscle percentage and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Right. I mean, it kind of is.
No, I mean, it's not. No, because it's like you want... Okay.
This seems like a video game thing, Nelson.
It's because it's a video
not
game thing. And I know. And you're trying to relate it to your own world,
Yeah.
and I'm shutting you down. Okay? But it is very... Yeah, I think it's very much a video game thing. Because it's things like... and surely you've played, like... Haven't you played, GTA before?
Yeah.
A little bit, because that's sort of a thing in that where it's like you go to the gym a bit and then you get strong and there's just like a little bar that
I just drove around.
You were
I ran people over.
lazy. You didn't even go to the gym in a video game.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've never played a GTA storyline ever.
Yeah,
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I've immediately got into a car.
Yeah.
And wreaked havoc.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good game. And then just...
Yeah. I'm not surprised that you haven't gone through the storyline. Yeah.
But if I'm not doing that, why am I taking time out of my rampaging to go to the gym?
Because it's not a main quest. So it's you just, you can beat people up in the gym.
That would be fun, actually.
Oh, now you want to do it, don't you?
Yeah. No, the last GTA I actually played was Vice City.
That was great.
But I don't think it was
I didn't have a gym
as elaborate at that point. There was a lot of buildings and stuff you couldn't walk into. I played a little bit of whatever the one that's Los Angeles. San Andreas.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of that, but maybe like an hour tops.
Yeah, okay, right. Anyway, but I think this would be great because, I think it'd be good because there's like this. I even find when I go to the gym, right?
Brag.
I will. I often compare myself to the person running next to me from on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I'll like glance over to their stats, see how fast they're running, and be like, I'm faster than that, so doing fine. What's your incline? 0.5%. And I like to compete with them. And so if somebody's running a bit faster than me, then I'd be like, okay, I'll up it a bit. And it's like a challenge. And I feel like if the stats bar was if there was a thing for strength, and it was just like average over the total world, then I'd be more inclined to get there. Like it might say I'm below average or something, so I'd try to get to the average. But I think the problem with that is if at the very top you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Like I'm never getting there.
Right.
I get no hope.
Yeah, well, that was my next question. Is it average strength or is it like a combined strength of everyone? Because then there would be a select few that are really pushing that bar so that no one's going to catch up. No one's going to be the Rock.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? No one's going to be the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's right.
But does that mean that no one else can really ever get full strength bar?
Yeah.
Because that would be discouraging.
Because if you were Arnold Schwarzenegger, or in his heyday, I guess, then you would want the satisfaction of having your bar completely full.
Sure.
And it wouldn't feel as satisfying if somebody else weaker than you also had a full bar.
Pretty strong.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. So I think that you need to do that. So my bar would be really freaking low.
Yeah. I think I would see, I'm assuming it's like a gradient of green to red or something like that.
Yes.
And mine is like firmly in the green. I'd be like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm not even in yellow yet. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. I'll just give up and eat pizza.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one.
Okay.
This is by Nebula X1. Two-parter. Oh, wait. Okay. No, I see what's happened here. I vaguely remember writing these notes. This person has done 2 shower thoughts.
Okay.
I think I'm going to read you them one after the other.
Okay.
So it's by Nebula X1. Being an adult is like one of those choose-your-own-adventure stories, but every option sounds terrible and costs way too much. And the second one is, being an adult is worrying about not having enough money and then buying yourself treats because you've been worrying a lot lately. I think this person's struggling to be an adult.
Yeah, I think this person's in financial trouble. Guys, don't you hate it when you don't have enough money to even fucking live? And everyone's like, I mean, I have enough to live.
It's kind of budget appropriately. I don't buy myself treats because I'm worrying so much, which then leads into this downward spiral.
Like, I have a few thousand in the bank just in case, but you know, I'm not living lavishly, but I'm getting by.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, that's stressing me out. I can buy myself this $200 jacket.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think this person just needs to take a step back for a second.
Do treats de-stress you? I don't think, like, if I was stressed about paying rent and then I brought myself a guitar, that wouldn't calm me down.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if it's guitar, because I don't know how to play.
That's a whole thing.
I spent money on this guitar, now I've got to put in the hours. Otherwise, it's a real waste of money. I mean, I think it depends if it was the stress of if I was worrying about something else. This is what it might. So obviously, if I'm worrying about money, I don't think I ever consider buying myself a treat to just be like, well, this will make me feel better.
Yeah, because you don't deserve it.
I don't deserve it. I've been very flimsy with my money. Yeah. In fact, I'll probably feel better if I don't.
Yeah. You'd be like, this is the first step. I'm pretty much the barefoot investor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like, I haven't had takeaway all week. Good on me.
I know our listenership is almost half American, so that's a very Australian reference.
Yeah.
He's a finance.
I think that's he's gone global, hasn't he?
I don't think so.
Surely
no one in America knows who Scott Papers is. Him.
Him. The one American guy that we know.
Do you know who the barefoot investor is? Please write it and tell us. Don't Google it. You can Google them after. But prior to that, has he made it in America?
Yeah. He does have a lot of like Australian references and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
He lives in country Victoria.
Yeah. Okay. He's still whatever. Anyway, look, Hazim is going.
Warren Buffett.
He's going to let us know on that one. But okay, so this is the question.
Yeah.
Let's say you're worrying about a performance review at work.
Yep.
Does buying yourself a treat then help?
No.
Okay.
No. I would buy myself a treat only, I think, as a reward.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, yeah, got a good performance review. Sweet. Let's buy that guitar.
Okay. Yeah. But then, I guess it depends on your definition of treat, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're buying yourself like some chocolate,
well,
probably don't need to reward myself too much.
This is what I think. I think they're talking about food. And if you're suggesting chocolate bar, how much of a financial situation are they in that buying a chocolate bar could topple the budget?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like real bad.
That's pretty bad. By that point, boy.
You need to eat real food, not a chocolate bar, because you're practically, you'll be starving with the amount of money you have to spend on food.
What's a chocolate bar? $2, maybe?
Maybe.
Let's say they go high end, $3.
Whoa.
If you can't afford to part with even $3 because that will ruin your budget, you have not budgeted appropriately at all.
Yeah. You're a horrible person.
Yeah. This person, you like to contact the people that whose things we use.
Yeah.
I would just add a little extra section being like, do you need money or
do you I'm not going to give it to you. I'm just wondering.
Yeah. We can put you in touch.
Money. Yeah.
I'll give you the barefoot investor.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully, if you're from Australia. Otherwise, there's going to be stuff that does not make sense. Okay, I have one more. Or do I have two more?
Okay. Maybe it's one of those ones that has two, like the previous.
Yeah. This is by Anagog. It's 2019.
Correct.
And we still don't have countdowns on toasters.
What? I mean, in a way, I only learned this the other day that the numbers correlate to minutes.
Do you know what? I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that as well.
I think I read it somewhere.
I heard a comedian do it once.
Right.
It was like his opening gag.
Uh-huh.
He was like, did you know the dial means minutes? And everybody was like, oh my God, and like laughed because nobody had that epiphany. And then I was like cooking toast probably like 5 years later. And I remember this and I was like, this is way longer than like a minute or something, or like the time I put on, way longer or way less, whatever. And I was like, there's no way that it's like, because I think 5, if you put a thing on like 5, which I reckon is kind of where I go up to on a toast, like pretty heavy toast. Yeah. There's no way
that is a pretty heavy toast.
Pretty heavy toast. There's no way that's cooking for 5 minutes. It'll be on freaking fire.
Nelson, we have only ever done one live stream. And that was looking into people's eyes for 3 minutes or something.
Oh, this could be.
Could our second live stream be you putting in some toast and me starting a timer?
Yeah.
And seeing whether this myth of minutes to numbers is true.
I think it's true. I think we should do one at like 1 and then another one at the maximum.
We need to be thorough.
We need to go both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
And
if they're both correct, we'll assume everything in the middle is fine.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do what most scientists do and assume the rest.
Yeah, assume the rest. You can put the rest together yourself.
Yeah.
As a professor, I would be happy to lead this experiment.
Yeah.
As a learned man of education, Nelson.
As a doctor, it's not in my field.
Yeah, you leave the teaching to me. You piece of shit.
Yeah. All right, good. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm excited for that. All right, let's get into podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is by Hazim.
Oh, it's a Hazim heavy episode.
Hazim special, if you will. My dudes.
Oh.
And then in brackets he says, you were starting to get a bit big on your britches over people referring to you as gentlemen, so I decided to bring you down a notch. You know what I've decided to do, Cambo?
What's that?
Hazim.
Oh, got him.
He's going back to Hazim. I very incorrectly pronounced his name so long ago. That's what you get, Hazim. All right. I mean, it sounded pretty mean, doesn't it? I went to like a really dark tone, like, that's what you get. I didn't mean it that mean. I mean, I did.
It would be perfect if there was like a lightning crack at that very point.
Okay, anyway, Hazim says, I was listening to a podcast called Yo, Is This Racist?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which brings in user questions about race and whether something is racist / how to avoid being racist.
Yeah.
One example in the most recent episode is an author writing a fantasy novel who wants to know how to describe characters who look East Asian and African in a fantasy world without an Asia or Africa, which I'd love to hear you weigh in on. That being said, the way I heard about this podcast is through Reddit, where someone referred to another question on the show. A white guy wrote in asking if it was racist that a Taco Bell employee asked if he wanted mild sauce with their meal. Your answer? And I think Hazim ended up linking us the Reddit, so I might credit the Reddit on this one as well. That was by Weird32.
Weird32, okay.
So
is it
everybody's
racist?
Collaborating here.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on, Kevin.
Okay.
Go on.
Which one do I tackle first? Let's go to Taco Bell.
Okay.
Is it racist they asked if he wanted mild? No. I sometimes find that casual racism about white people like us is actually really handy.
Right.
Because I went into an Indian restaurant not long ago and they were like, do you want butter chicken?
Yeah.
And I was like,
obviously.
Yeah. So that was actually really convenient.
You walked in and you walked out.
Yeah. So that's fine.
That is the most embarrassing thing. I try to avoid, if I go to an Indian restaurant, I try to avoid the butter chicken just to prove a point.
Yeah. I'm more than you think I am.
Yeah. And because I often get like I quite like spicy things, so sometimes and part of my I very indecisive when it comes to choosing things on a menu. So sometimes my go-to is I just find the spiciest thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a way easier process of elimination. And so then I'll say to the person like, oh, I want this, and they go, that's pretty hot. And I go,
Yeah.
and I go, yeah, I'm fine with it. And it might be an Indian or an Asian restaurant or something. They kind of do that eyebrows raised, like your skin tone doesn't match the heat of this dish.
So here's if someone had said to me, "Do you want mild?" I would have just said, "No, make it hot."
Yeah,
but maybe they didn't ask if you wanted mild because of your skin color. Maybe you look like a wimp.
Yeah,
you got to consider that. You remember had a little windbreaker on, and you're like, "Oh, just this one, please."
yeah, that's right. You have a T-shirt that says "I hate hot stuff." But surely, mild is the standard. Because I'm thinking of Nando's.
Yeah.
I think mild is the standard.
Yeah.
And so I think if somebody was normally they say, which basting do you want?
Yeah.
But I would also accept, is mild okay for the basting?
Yeah.
As just a generic question to everybody.
Just like when they say, I'll get a meal and they say just regular size.
Yeah.
Are you going to be offended they didn't say, do you want the large one?
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
You're an idiot.
It's more offensive if they're like, the large, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Okay. So the other question. The author wants to know, in a fantasy novel, how he describes people that look, was it East Asian and African?
Yeah.
In a fantasy world that doesn't have an East Asia or Africa.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have Asia or Africa, but yes.
Right, yeah. They have North.
It's got a West Asia, but not an East Asia. Yeah.
How do you do that? I don't know. I'm not North.
So, okay. This is, I think, I'm glad we started in reverse order because this is my thoughts, and I think that I might have even said it on the podcast before. I am very open about this, but I think some people don't like it, which is that I don't think you can be racist unless you mean it.
Right.
Unless you're intending to cause offense.
Yeah.
Right? That is the only time in which anything is racist. You can do, even to the extent, okay, this is the one of the extremes that I'll go to, right? Because I know people get quite offended over this. I'm going to give a very specific Australian example, but I reckon this story made it overseas.
Okay.
And you would know this. There was a show called Hey, Hey, It's Saturday.
Yep.
And there was they were doing a reboot of this show, actually.
Yep.
And so they got an old act in. There was an act from the 90s, and it was some kids dancing to the Jackson 5.
Yep.
And they all did blackface. They all had, makeup on or whatever to be completely black. And Harry Connick Jr. was also, they got him on this panel, and he was horrified.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Australia was like, oh, that turns out blackface is bad. But in no way were those people intending to cause any sort of offense at all. They weren't trying to be racist, and I think because of that, then they weren't racist. And they were just sort of paying homage to the Jackson 5. The idea that you can't dress up as somebody, it's like if you put a crown on you and you said, oh, I'm the queen, you'd be like, oh, that's so offensive to the queen. No, it's not. You're just looking like them. And why does skin tone matter when you're trying to look like something? I feel like...
So what is your thought on cultural appropriation? So that's kind of a bit of a buzz thing lately, right? People that are stealing other people's culture for... fashion and things like that. So the example they used is at music festivals, a lot of girls were wearing Indian headdresses.
Yeah.
Saying that's cultural appropriation. You're taking another culture and you're exploiting it. But I understand the idea behind it, but also where is
what's the exploitation that comes out of that?
And where is the line between cultural appropriation and appreciating a different culture? So there are people, for instance, that are really into Japan. And they will have kind of Japanese weapons and Japanese calligraphy and stuff on the wall. But I never think that's cultural appropriation. I'm like, man, that guy really loves the culture of Japan.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, I just don't understand. And that's the point. Like, at what point is that a negative?
Yeah.
And that's exactly my point. It's that if somebody is doing that to purposefully be negative, that's when it's racist. Mm-hmm. Any other time, I don't think it is ever at all.
Sure, but what about ignorance, though? Like, do you think that ignorance is an excuse?
I still don't think so, because I think that you can be offended by what somebody says.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Queen could be offended that you wore the crown, but that doesn't mean that it's not right. I mean, somebody can be offended that somebody does blackface in this when they're trying to do a Jackson 5 performance.
Sure.
But I still don't think that makes it racism. Uh-huh. You can be offended against something that isn't racism.
Right.
Because you shouldn't be able to, society shouldn't live on what is offensive to somebody else, because everybody can be offended by everything. So that's not how we should kind of like live our lives. And so I think, I'm, of course, totally against racism, but my definition of racism is that somebody is intending to be, to offend through race. Like, that's my definition of it. And I feel like any other iteration of that is just not that bad. And so I think I'd be terrible on this Is It Racist podcast, because most things I'd probably be like, did they mean to be offensive? Then no, that's not racism.
What about the idea, like, I think Get Out proposes this a lot. Even people that think they're not being racist can be racist through kind of just not thinking about things from another person's perspective. Where do you fall on something like that?
Yeah, okay. So you're right. There are probably really like gray areas, perhaps, in which my idea of racism and sort of the alternative idea of racism is sort of joins. But I think I need like specific examples to almost answer those. And I think that that's okay as well. I don't think that we have to put a blanket rule on that something is or isn't racist. Like, I think, and that's kind of it's the problem with things being politically correct, right?
Yeah.
Is because we do have that idea of we have to make a rule about something and then stick to that rule regardless, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of political correctness. It's like, well, no, I think we need to, like, ebb and flow as situations arise. Like, why do we have to define something so, distinctively?
So do you want to hear a story I found out just today, actually, about people screaming racism? And I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Because this comes into like where humor comes into it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a pop-up restaurant in Melbourne at the moment. It's called Pablo Escoburger.
Yeah.
Right? And their signature burger is a hamburger, and on the top is like a line of white powder and a $100 note stuck into the side of the burger.
Yeah.
Like a fake American $100 note.
I was hoping it was a real one. Like, you pay $110 for the burger, but you get the $100 back. I'd love that.
That would be good. It's even more if it's American currency. You got that exchange rate.
Cool.
You're making money.
I'm going to eat so many burgers at that place.
And like all of their photo shoots for social media stuff have like the burger around like stacks of cash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people are saying that's kind of glorifying like what was actually a really horrendous time for a lot of South Americans.
Right, yeah.
But I don't think there's any serious malice behind that. I think they just thought it was a funny pun.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that pun? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Again, that's the same thing. Like, did they mean offense by it?
Yeah.
No, then it's not. Yeah. There's no problem. And again, yes, people can be offended by that, but that's fine. It's not. I still don't think they're in the wrong.
Stephen Fry has a great bit on being offended, which I mean I won't quote it all, but essentially his thing is, you're offended. Okay, so what?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What does that change?
Yeah, that's right. I really hate, like, that's one of the things I think that seems to be getting out of control. I think these days is people being offended, and then enough people rallying around that to make that then like a rule that you in specific circumstances you can't do that because it's offensive to some people. Fuck you, I'll do what I want.
My favorite one is people that are offended on behalf of other people, but the group that should be offended aren't.
Yeah, right.
I find that funny. Okay, here's an example. When they made a live action version of Ghost in the Shell a few years ago, which is a Japanese anime movie. But when they remade it in Hollywood, they cast Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying that's whitewashing. You've taken that character that was from an Asian property and you've made her a white woman.
Yeah.
Right? And people were screaming racism. And everyone was screaming that except Japan. Who were like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an American movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
And the creator of Ghost of the Shell was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If we remade it in Japan, we'd cast it with Japanese people.
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah.
But I like things like that. I find funny that people are offended on behalf of people that don't need to be offended.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
I do remember that story. It's very funny. Yeah.
That probably didn't answer your question, but how do you describe them? I don't know.
So I guess I would just say like, I don't know, dark skin.
Right. Yeah.
And like good at running.
Oh boy.
And the other's like anime. And noodles. Done.
Because you didn't mean any offense by that. So that's you can say. You can say whatever you want.
Exactly. Because like again, that's the thing as well. Like I quite often make. I mean, earlier in the episode, I said something about. We said something about Mexicans, right? Keep them out or something like that.
Yeah.
We're not obviously meaning offense by it.
Obviously, it's ironic.
Yeah. It's the same thing that I did there. Okay, people. Take a chill pill.
It's like because obviously you had a tone of joking just then, but have you ever had something read back to you with no tone?
Yeah.
Oh, it's scary.
That's why I get downvoted a lot on Reddit because my tone doesn't come across when I'm being heavily, jokingly racist. Alrighty. Anyway, thank you for that. Hazim. I'll go back to Hazim.
All right. We just had a flash of lightning, Nelson.
Yeah. Well, there's been a few. I haven't been facing the window. So sorry that I haven't so enthusiastically been calling them out.
No. I think you were more professional and didn't stop the show to point it out.
Wait, lightning! Light from the sky. Alrighty. So we're running pretty late, so we'll just do one. Okay. We'll do one AMA.
Sure. I've got an AMA here from Cousin Rowan.
Oh.
He says, "My dudes." Oh no.
Oh, what's going on? You've started as
No, I'm kidding. He is respectful, and he says, "Gentlemen."
Yes.
My 5-year-old son recently asked me this question out of the blue, so I thought I'd see what you have to say about it. AMA 69. 69.0. Which one is more important? I immediately got it wrong.
Yeah.
Which one is more important, the law or staying alive? Cheers, Cousin Rowan. Do you... I mean, whose cousin is he? Who knows? Do you know Cousin Rowan's son's name? Look.
Yes.
Rowan Jr. Let's go with it.
Rowan Jr.
Rowan, stop podcast
wait.
now.
This is going to kill me if I can't get it right.
Zach.
Okay.
Zach. Okay. Rowan, stop podcast now. Put it on a Bluetooth speaker so Zach can hear.
Okay.
Zach, your life. Break the law if you need to. Save your life.
Break the law now.
Break the law now just to be sure.
Just in case.
Yeah.
It means...
Because your life may have depended on it later.
Yeah.
So if you see, like, if you're in the supermarket and you see a yummy chocolate bar, just put it in your pocket.
But eat it.
Yeah, steal it.
There.
Steal it. Also, what you want to do, grab mummy and daddy's devices and subscribe to Reddit on every single one of them.
Yeah.
That will also save your life.
Yeah. And in fact, anybody, any devices you can get your hands on.
Device. Tell kids at school.
Yeah.
I know they're quite young. And they probably don't have devices of their own, but teachers do.
Yeah.
Tell every teacher at your school to subscribe to Reddit on Reddit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that is like such a great question for a kid, isn't it?
It's a great question for an adult.
Well, for an adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's so like, I just mean the concept is so simplified when you're young, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because you just see these things as being, I don't know, like powerful, I guess, like the law and the survival.
Yeah.
And so,
I think generally most people will agree life over law. For instance, I think here's a common movie cliche, but someone is about to have a baby and they need to get to the hospital. So they're speeding and the cop will pull them over and they're saying, oh my God, my wife's in labor. And the cop says, all right, go, get out, like make sure, because you're bringing your life into the world. You want to be safe with that. So I think even on that.
Wait, what?
Like, I'm saying that people prioritize life over law.
Are
generally.
you saying that the cop says, that's cool, keep speeding?
As in, like I'm not going to give you a fine or anything like that. I
Oh.
understand.
See, I think the total opposite.
Right.
Because I think they're like, slow down. There's now three people in the car that you can kill.
Sorry, I'm not saying they say continue speeding.
Yeah.
But I think they say, okay, I won't fine you because...
Oh,
You see what I'm
like
saying?
up until this
So
point.
the law that should be in place here for me fining you, I will forego given the
Okay.
circumstance.
Okay, if I was a police officer in that circumstance,
Nelson.
I would definitely still find them because I think that's like
You would have them sit there.
No,
Why they're in labour, why you get their registration number and
how's
everything.
your would? She's screaming shit. I'm like, well, shouldn't have told your husband to speak.
You should have planned this out better.
Yeah, that's right. No, I think that because I would I think that's far worse. If I was a cop, don't get me wrong, I would barely pull people over.
So that would need to really be speeding.
If I saw a pregnant lady in the car is when I would do it, because I think that's far more irresponsible than, just do it. It's like you're stressed and driving at high speed.
You're speeding for 3.
Yeah. It's like, that's not a good combination.
Right.
But yeah, okay. But I still see your point. So yeah, you're right. Like in some cases, I'm sure they wouldn't even dole out a fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think otherwise, survival is key. But then I think you can get into like a sticky conversation. If you start talking about what is survival and what does the law impede on us, because it's like, okay, if you have, we find it easy to obey the law right now, partly because we probably have enough money and stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty rich.
So then obviously if you're very poor and you're trying to survive, then there's a scale, right?
Sure.
Where you're like, okay, stealing to help yourself survive. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the classic
can
one...
I murder somebody and eat them because I'm starving? It's like there's a line in between that I feel like you can get into a tricky sort of conversation about.
Yeah. The classic, I guess, is is it okay to steal a loaf of bread to feed a starving family?
Yeah, but I think that's easy to say. Well, like obviously. Yeah. But then that's what I mean. You need to ramp up the stakes,
right? And
be like, okay, is it okay to speed to, for whatever reason, feed a starving family?
Yeah.
Is it okay to do drugs or sell drugs? Let's say to feed a starving family.
Walter
because
White.
then you're like, well, okay, I'm starving, but I need to feed my family, feed me, so I'm going to sell drugs. But you do so knowing that certain people are going to overdose and die.
Yeah.
So then the line becomes like way blurrier there.
Yeah. Think about that, Zach.
Zach, next time you go to sell drugs, send some money our way.
Yeah.
We'll give you an airtight alibi.
But officer, he was with us.
He doesn't even live in your state. Yeah.
Even more reason that he couldn't have been in the state you said he was, since he was interstate at the time with us.
We saw him 10 minutes before and after on CCTV. Well, then we kill the cop because survival. All right. Thank you for that, Ron. That's a good question. And thank you, Zach,
for the real question.
For the real question. I think Ron's right. It would be good to have a kid on our show. You know, it would be horrible at the same time.
We record quite late.
Yeah. And also, we just go off into nonsense.
We had a bit just before about peeing with ejaculate in your penis.
Yeah.
And how that sometimes splits urine. Oh, Zach, stop listening by this point.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Daddy's going to have to explain that one to you. Anyway, maybe in future shows. Because it's like kids say the darndest things.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what. Oh, that was Bill Cosby.
Let's not bring that one up. Right, that's it for the show.
Yep.
Thank you for listening, everybody. If you would like to write in like Rowan did or Hazim did, oh my God, I almost accidentally said Hazim. Hazim did. You can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
You can also reach us at Facebook,
Correct.
at Twitter,
Yep.
and our subreddit. They're all READIT podcast. And if you could subscribe and like our show, we'd really super duper love that.
And tell all the teachers at your school to subscribe and like.
School.
Yep.
Get detention.
Yep.
By being a nuisance.
Yeah.
Because they haven't subscribed on the app.
Right.
And when they subscribe, then you can stop being a nuisance.
Yeah.
But like just otherwise continuously get detentions and be a nuisance. Get expelled if you need to.
Films have led me to believe that when you're in detention, you write the same thing on the board a lot. Just subscribe to Reddit.
Subscribe to Reddit on Reddit. Yeah, that's right. Detention in films for me has meant a group of kids who are. I'm trying to get Breakfast Club, and I just couldn't get there. I couldn't quite.
Who bond even though they're from different backgrounds.
And you know what? Let's end the show.
Look, the last thing is if you want to see the return of the sophisticated hosts, just let us know by overwhelming support in the emails, and we'll make that happen.
And also maybe check our social media. We might do the toast experiment.
Oh, yeah. If you want to see the toast experiment, also let us know that by overwhelming support in the emails.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we will read you later.